What's up, y'all? Welcome to another Treats from the Road. And my wife has decided that she wants me to try something called Stroopwafels today. I've never tried this, but apparently you are supposed to heat it up on like a hot cup of coffee for 2 minutes and then it gets all caramely and melty. She says it's delicious. Let's see. I have a texture thing, so this should be hilarious. That was amazing. Um, yeah, I'm not a huge fan, but you might be. It is very caramely. I like that part of it, but there's something about it that I don't like. It could just be the texture because it got hot and gooey, and that bothers me apparently. But yeah, you should try Stroop waffles and see what you think for yourself. Put it in the comments what you think, because not probably not going to be something I'm finishing today. So my wife's going to get to eat that. However, I do have a tasty tale for you that comes all the way from Alexandria, Kentucky. My friends and I, we were playing a gig one night. This little bar in the middle of nowhere called the Camp Springs Tavern, which is one of my favorite places in Kentucky to play. It's like a 200-year-old old stone bar, basically. You know, the stone walls and all that good stuff. The vibe in there is amazing. So we decided we're going to play in there one night, just a trio, just me, a bass player, and a guy on a cajon, you know, like a big wooden box. So we have like a 3 hour set that night. And we're set up and we get through our first set just fine, no problems. And then we start to play our second set, and out of the corner of my eye, I see this lady walk in. I immediately know that she has already been pre gaming. She was pretty soft when she got to the bar. But then she goes to the bar. You know, as musicians, we're always paying attention to what can change in the room. And sometimes just one person walking in can change the whole energy of the night. And that's kind of the way that this was going, just not in the way that we thought. Um, she goes to the bar and she orders a glass, like a beer glass, of Jameson. You know, most people put that in a shot glass. She orders a glass of Jameson, and for some reason, they gave it to her. They thought, this is a great idea. We'll give her a whole glass of Jameson. So here's this lady with a whole glass of JMO, and she, for whatever reason, locks on to our cajon player. She thinks our drummer is very cute and proceeds for the whole second set to stand right in front of him. We're sitting on the floor, there's no stage. He's on a box. She's like this close to his face all night long while he's trying to play this wooden box. And so we get done with our second set, and she pulls the classic, "Hey, do you have a light?" And he, of course, without thinking, goes, "I sure do." She proceeds to just grab him by the arm and take him outside so that they can smoke a cigarette. Normally, that's not a big problem, but it gets to be close to the third set. And I was like, man, I better go find our drummer and ask him, to come back in because we're getting ready to start. So I go outside and they're out there talking, and she's like close talking him, like that typical person that's had too much to drink that doesn't realize that they're in your space like this. She's doing that to him. I can tell he's highly uncomfortable because he's the biggest introvert in the world. So I'm like, I realize I need to probably get him out of this situation. So I'm like, hey man, our set's about to start. Why don't you come on in and we'll get ready to roll for this last set? And he's like, great. He starts to walk away. I walk inside. I turn around and realize he's still not with me. I thought he was right behind me. I turn around. I'm like, where'd he go? The door behind me shut, and I realize he's still outside. So I turn around to go back and get him, and then the door opens, and his face is like white as a ghost. And I was like, dude, what happened? And he was like, I don't want to talk about it. And I was like, okay, let's play the third set. So we get through the third set finally. And after it's over, he finally tells us the story of what happened outside. And he said, you came out to get me, and I started to walk into, back into the bar with you. And she grabbed me by my shoulder, spun me around, licked my cheek, squeezed my butt, and said, you're welcome. That's what happened right before I came on for the third set. She licked his face and squeezed his butt. He's a total introvert. It was one of the funniest things I've ever heard, number one, but it really freaked him out. And somehow he made it through the third set because he's a pro. But yeah, here's the moral of the story. When somebody asks you to go outside with them, that's probably okay. As long as they haven't drank an entire glass of JMO and probably pre-gamed it all night before they came to the bar. That is a surefire sign of somebody you don't really want to go out and hang out with. Or you'll get your face licked and your butt squeezed, and they'll tell you you're welcome. So you're welcome for this tale. I hope you've enjoyed it. I am not going to go eat that Stroopwafel. I don't know where it went. Did it melt? It melted and went in this coffee glass. So yeah, thanks for watching another Treats from the Road. I'm not going to drink this coffee now. We'll see you soon.